Woman enters the church and hears a girl speak. "Daddy, she's the angel we asked God for." Amanda Collins felt her legs tremble as she pushed the heavy wooden door of the church. She had rehearsed that moment for months, but now that she was finally there, every step seemed impossible. 8 years had passed since she made a promise at the hospital bedside of her best friend, a promise that haunted her every night. It was then that she heard the high, sweet voice of a child echo through the empty hallway. "Daddy, she's the angel we asked God for." Amanda froze. Her heart raced as she slowly turned her head toward the voice. A little girl was pointing at her with wide eyes, shining with enchantment. And beside the child was a man Amanda recognized immediately, even after so many years. Nathan Miller. The man turned, and when his eyes met hers, Amanda saw something that made her want to disappear from there. It wasn't anger. It was worse. It was deep hurt, disappointment, and a silent question she didn't know how to answer. "Amanda?" His voice came out hoarse, disbelieving. She tried to speak, but the words got stuck in her throat. The girl let go of her father's hand and started running toward her with a radiant smile on her face. "You came! You really came!" the child shouted, her quick little steps echoing in the silence of the church. "Emma, wait!" Nathan called, but the girl had already reached Amanda. The little one hugged Amanda's legs tightly, as if afraid she would disappear. Amanda looked down, paralyzed. Those dark curls, those bright brown eyes. It was like looking at Olivia again. "I dream about you every night," Emma said, looking up with a sincerity that broke Amanda's heart. "Daddy told me about you. He said one day you would come back." Nathan approached quickly, with an expression torn between shock and something that seemed like discomfort. "Emma, come back here," he said, but the girl didn't let go of Amanda. "Is she really the angel, Daddy? The godmother angel you talked about?" Amanda felt tears burning her eyes. Godmother. She had abandoned that child. What right did she have to be called that? I need to go," Amanda managed to say, her voice coming out broken. She tried to take a step back, but Emma tightened her hug. "Don't go away again. Please don't." The plea in the girl's voice made something inside Amanda shatter. Nathan finally reached them and placed his hands on his daughter's shoulders, trying to gently pull her away. "Emma, sweetie, let her breathe," he said softly, but his eyes, when he looked at Amanda, were full of unasked questions. "But Daddy, it's her. It's the woman from my dream," Emma insisted, resisting her father's touch. "I know, honey, but—" "Nathan, I didn't know you came here," Amanda finally managed to speak, quickly wiping the tears that had started to fall. "I didn't know. I swear I didn't know." "And why are you here?" His question held no accusation, only weariness. "After 8 years, why this church of all places?" Amanda opened her mouth to answer, but didn't know where to begin. How to explain that she had chosen that church precisely because it was across town, far from everything that reminded her of her past. How to say that she had spent the last years trying to rebuild herself, fighting demons that almost consumed her. "I started coming here a few months ago," she said, avoiding his penetrating gaze. "I didn't know you." "We live nearby," Nathan interrupted, and there was something bitter in his tone. "We moved to Riverside 2 years ago. Emma loves this church." "Because of the colorful stained glass," the girl added, still clinging to Amanda. "And because Daddy says here I can ask God for whatever I want, and he listens." Amanda looked at the stained glass windows Emma mentioned. The morning light streamed through them, creating colorful patches on the old wooden floor. She herself had been drawn to that tranquility, to the feeling of peace that this place conveyed. "Amanda, we need to talk," Nathan said, his voice low. "But not here, not now, Emma, come on, we need to go." "No," the girl protested. "I want to stay with her." "Emma, Daddy, please, we asked so much for her to show up, and now that she's here, you want to send her away again?" The child's innocent accusation left Nathan speechless. Amanda saw the conflict written on his face, the struggle between old anger and love for his daughter. "All right," he conceded, running his hand through his hair in a gesture Amanda recognized from years ago. "All right, we'll stay a little longer." Emma let go of Amanda only to take her hand and pull her toward the front pews. Nathan followed behind, maintaining a respectful but watchful distance. "Sit here next to me," Emma requested, pointing to the wooden bench. "I want to show you something." Amanda sat down, feeling the weight of Nathan's gaze on her. He settled on the other side of his daughter, creating a protective barrier between Amanda and the child. Emma opened a small backpack that was on the bench and pulled out a colorful notebook. When she opened it to the first page, Amanda had to hold back a sob. It was a drawing of her, a woman with wavy hair and a gentle smile, surrounded by stars and hearts. "I drew you," Emma said proudly. "Daddy has some old photos saved, and I asked him to show me. Then I made several drawings." "Emma, I told you not to mess with those photos," Nathan said, but there was no real anger in his voice, only resignation. "But I wanted to know what she looked like, Daddy. You always talked about her, but you never showed me." Amanda flipped through the notebook with trembling hands, page after page of drawings, her and Olivia together, her holding a baby, her with wings like a real angel. Each drawing was a stab of guilt in her chest. "You're talented, Emma," Amanda managed to say, her voice choked. "These drawings are beautiful." "Really?" The girl's eyes shone. "Daddy puts them all on the refrigerator. He says I'm going to be an artist when I grow up." "You will," Amanda smiled through her tears. Your mother also loved to draw." The silence that followed was heavy. Emma looked at her father, then at Amanda, seeming to notice for the first time the tension between the two adults. "Did you know my mother?" she asked softly. "I did. She was my best friend," Amanda replied, and every word hurt. "The best person I ever knew." "Daddy tells me stories about her every night before bed," Emma said. "He says she was very beautiful and very brave, that she loved me very, very much." Amanda looked at Nathan, and for the first time since they had reunited, there was something beyond resentment in his eyes. There was gratitude. At least he was keeping Olivia's memory alive for their daughter. "That's true," Amanda confirmed. "She loved you more than anything in the world, Emma." "And you?" The girl's question came simply, directly. "Do you love me?" The world seemed to stop. Amanda felt Nathan stiffen beside his daughter. How to answer that question? How to tell the truth without hurting even more? Amanda began, but was interrupted by a familiar voice. "Good morning. What a joy to see more people around here at this hour." It was Father Michael, a man of about 60 with greying hair and a warm smile. He was walking down the central aisle carrying some books. "Good morning, Father." Nathan stood up quickly. "We were just leaving." "No need to leave on my account," the priest said kindly. "God's house is always open. Oh, but look here. You must be Amanda, our new volunteer." Amanda blinked in surprise. Nathan turned to her with a shocked expression. "Volunteer?" he repeated. "Yes, Father Michael smiled even more. "Amanda is starting today in our social project. She'll help with the children on Tuesday and Thursday afternoons. Isn't that wonderful?" The expression on Nathan's face changed completely. The hurt gave way to something harder, colder. "So that's it," he said quietly, but loud enough for Amanda to hear. "You came here to ease your conscience, is that it? Working with poor children to feel better about yourself?" "Nathan, it's not like that," Amanda tried to explain. "No? Then explain it to me, Amanda. Explain to me why after 8 years you show up right here, right where we are." "I didn't know." Amanda stood up too, her voice rising. "I had no idea you came to this church. Daddy, don't fight with her," Emma whined, her eyes filling with tears. Father Michael looked from one to the other, finally noticing the tension. "Maybe it's better if we talk in the office," he suggested. "Emma, sweetie, do you want to go see the little fish in the aquarium while the adults talk?" But Emma was already crying, clinging to Amanda's arm again. "I don't want her to leave. I don't want to." "Emma, honey, calm down." Nathan tried to soothe her, but the girl was getting more and more upset. "You promised, Daddy. You promised that if I asked with faith, God would send her back. And now she's here, and you want to send her away." "Emma, it's not like that." "Yes, it is," the girl sobbed. "You don't want me to have a mother." The words fell like bombs in the silence of the church. Nathan turned pale. Amanda felt her heart break into even smaller pieces. Father Michael approached, placing a gentle hand on Emma's shoulder. "My child, calm down," he said softly. "Nobody is leaving. Everyone is here. Take a deep breath with me, can you?" Emma obeyed, still sobbing but trying to follow the priest's breathing. Nathan ran his hands over his face, visibly shaken. Sorry, he said, not making it clear if he was speaking to his daughter, to Amanda, or to the priest. "Sorry, I shouldn't have. Emma hasn't been well lately." "I understand," Father Michael said. "These are delicate situations, but maybe this is God's hand at work, don't you think? Sometimes he puts us exactly where we need to be." Amanda didn't know what to believe anymore. 8 years ago, she had lost faith in everything. But looking at that girl with Olivia's eyes, at that man she had abandoned without explanation, maybe there was something bigger at stake. "Emma," Amanda knelt in front of the girl, carefully wiping her tears. "I'm not leaving today, I promise. But you need to understand that it's complicated." "Why?" Emma asked with that childlike honesty. "If you're my godmother and you love me, why is it complicated? How to explain years of pain and struggle to a 7-year-old? How to make her understand that sometimes adults break, not because they want to, but because they can't hold themselves together anymore?" "Because I hurt your daddy," Amanda said simply. "And when we hurt someone, we need time to fix it." Emma looked at her father, then at Amanda. "But you can say sorry. The teacher always says that when we make a mistake, we have to say sorry." "It's not that simple, honey," Nathan said, his voice tired. "Some things can't be fixed just with an apology. But we have to try, right, Daddy? You always say that we always have to try." Nathan had no answer for that. Amanda saw the struggle in his eyes, the love for his daughter battling against the old hurt. Dear listener, if you're enjoying the story, please take a moment to like and especially subscribe to the channel. It really helps us who are just starting out. Now continuing. "How about this?" Father Michael intervened. "Amanda, you were already planning to come here today to start your volunteer work, right? So come on. Emma, you and your dad can stay a little longer at the church, or maybe even see the project Amanda will be working on. No pressure, no commitment, just giving it a chance." Emma looked at her father with pleading eyes. Nathan let out a deep sigh. "All right," he gave in, "but just for today, just so Emma can see." The girl let out a little squeal of joy and hugged her dad's legs tightly. Amanda exchanged a look with Nathan, trying to convey silent gratitude. He just nodded, making it clear he was only doing this for his daughter. Father Michael guided them through the church's side corridors to a spacious room in the back. There were colorful tables, shelves full of books and toys, drawings hanging on the walls. It was a cheerful, lively space, so different from the solemn silence of the main nave. "This is our little corner," the priest explained. "Here we welcome children from Riverside on Tuesday and Thursday afternoons. We offer tutoring, recreational activities, a snack. There are about 20 regular children." Emma had already let go of her father's hand and was exploring the room with curiosity. Amanda watched her, seeing the genuine excitement in the girl's eyes. "Can I come too, Daddy?" Emma asked. "Please? You already have activities every afternoon, honey. Swimming, English. But I can skip a day or two." Nathan looked at Amanda, and she saw the unspoken question in his eyes. Did she really want this? Did she want Emma here, complicating an already impossible situation? But when she looked at the girl, with that hopeful smile and those bright eyes, Amanda knew she couldn't say no. "It would be nice to have you here, Emma," she said softly. "If your dad allows it, of course." Nathan closed his eyes for a moment, clearly struggling with himself. When he opened them again, there was resignation in them. "Tuesdays and Thursdays then," he said. "But I'm staying here too. I won't leave you alone with—" He stopped, realizing how the words would sound. "I'm staying here," he repeated simply. "That's not a problem," Father Michael said quickly. "In fact, we could use more volunteers. Nathan, what do you do for work?" "I'm between jobs at the moment," Nathan admitted, and Amanda caught the shame in his voice. "But I have experience with accounting, administration." "Perfect. We need someone to organize our finances. The receipts are a mess, the priest laughed. See? God really works in mysterious ways. Amanda didn't have the courage to ask how long Nathan had been unemployed. From the tense way he held his shoulders, from how he avoided her gaze, she guessed it wasn't recent. The next few hours passed in a strange haze. Children started arriving, filling the room with noise and energy. Emma blended in with them naturally, her laughter mixing with the others. Amanda tried to focus on her work, helping with homework, organizing activities, but she was always aware of Nathan's presence across the room, bent over old papers and receipts, casting furtive glances in her and his daughter's direction. When the afternoon ended and the children started leaving, Emma came running to Amanda. "I had so much fun," she said, jumping. "Can I come back on Thursday?" "Of course you can," Amanda smiled, feeling her heart tighten. Nathan approached, placing his hands on his daughter's shoulders. "Let's go, Emma. It's getting late." "Bye." Emma waved enthusiastically as her father guided her out. "See you on Thursday." Amanda waved back, and then they were gone. She stood there, surrounded by empty chairs and scattered toys, feeling the weight of that reunion fall on her like a ton of bricks. "Are you okay?" Father Michael asked gently. "I don't know," Amanda admitted. I didn't imagine that. Sometimes the past catches up with us when we least expect it," he said. "The question is, what are you going to do now?" It was a good question. What would she do? Run away again? Face what she had left behind? "I don't know if I can do this," Amanda confessed. Seeing him, it hurts too much." "And running doesn't hurt?" Amanda had no answer for that. She had spent 8 years running, and every day had been painful. "Father, I'm not who they think I am," she said quietly. "I'm no angel. I'm a broken person who abandoned a child when she needed me most." "And why did you do that?" The simple question opened floodgates Amanda had kept closed for years. Tears began to fall, and she didn't try to stop them. "Because I was sick," she whispered. "Very sick, and very afraid of hurting her." Father Michael said nothing, just stood there, a silent and comforting presence, while Amanda finally let out what she had kept inside for so long. 2 days later, on Thursday, Amanda arrived at the church early. Her heart was racing, mixing anxiety and a strange anticipation. She had spent the last 2 nights unable to sleep properly, thinking about Emma, about Nathan, about that impossible reunion. The children started arriving, and with them Emma, but this time Nathan didn't come in with her. An older woman with grey hair tied in a bun accompanied the girl. "Hi." Emma ran to hug Amanda. "Daddy couldn't come today, so Grandma Margaret brought me." Amanda looked at the woman, who stared back with an expression hard to decipher. It wasn't exactly hostility, but it definitely wasn't friendliness. "Good afternoon," Amanda greeted politely. "Good afternoon," the woman replied, her tone neutral. "Emma hasn't stopped talking about you these past few days." "Amanda is cool, Grandma. You'll see." Was all the grandmother said before turning to her granddaughter. "I'll be here until 5. Call me if you need anything before then." "Okay, Grandma." Margaret gave Amanda one last look before leaving. It was a warning look, as if saying, "Be careful with my granddaughter." The afternoon passed quickly. Emma was a sweet and articulate child, made friends easily, and loved helping the younger children. Amanda found herself watching every gesture, every smile, looking for traces of Olivia. They were there, abundant, the way Emma twisted her hair when she was concentrating, the melodious laugh, the natural kindness. "Amanda." Emma appeared by her side while the other children played. "Can I ask you a question?" "Of course." "Why did you leave?" The question came simply, directly. When she went to heaven, why didn't you stay with me?" Amanda felt the air leave her lungs. How to answer that honestly without burdening a 7-year-old child? "Emma, she began, but didn't know how to continue. "Daddy gets sad sometimes," Emma continued. "He thinks I don't see, but I do. He looks at some old pictures and gets sad. There's a picture of you with my mom. You two were smiling a lot." We were very good friends, Amanda said softly. Then why did you leave? Friends don't leave. The innocence of the accusation hurt more than any anger could. Sometimes people need to leave for a while, Amanda tried to explain. Not because they want to, but because they need to get better again. Were you sick? In a way, yes. But are you better now? Emma asked hopefully. Amanda looked at that child, at those eyes full of hope and trust, and wanted to say yes, wanted to promise she was cured, that she would never run away again. But she had learned in the worst way possible that promises were dangerous when you couldn't guarantee them. I'm better, she said carefully. But some things we need to take care of always, understand? Like when you brush your teeth every day so you don't get cavities. Emma seemed to consider that. Okay. I understand, she said finally. But you'll stay now, right? You won't leave again. I'll be here every Tuesday and Thursday, Amanda promised, and this time she felt secure making that promise. You can count on me. The smile Emma gave was so radiant that Amanda felt something warm inside her. Perhaps she didn't deserve that second chance, but she would do everything to earn it. The following weeks established a routine. Tuesdays and Thursdays, Emma would appear at the church, sometimes with Nathan, sometimes with her grandmother Margaret. Amanda noticed that on the days Nathan brought her, he would stay there, quietly working on church papers, casting watchful glances. On the days it was Margaret, the grandmother would wait outside, sitting on a bench, knitting and observing everything through the window. Amanda and Nathan exchanged few words. Good morning, good afternoon. Emma is doing well. Functional conversations, nothing more. But Amanda felt the weight of the unspoken between them, all the questions he didn't ask, all the explanations she didn't offer. One afternoon, when Nathan was there organizing receipts, Emma had an episode. It started small. She was drawing, concentrated, when suddenly she became very quiet, very still. Amanda was helping another child and didn't notice immediately. It was another girl who got her attention. Aunt Amanda, Emma is acting strange. Amanda turned and saw Emma sitting rigidly in the chair, her eyes fixed on nothing, the colored pencil fallen on the floor. Her face had lost all color. Emma? Amanda approached quickly. Emma, are you okay? The girl didn't respond. Her hands began to tremble. Nathan, Amanda called, trying to stay calm. Nathan, come here. He was at her side in seconds, panic already written on his face. Not again, he murmured, kneeling in front of his daughter. Emma, sweetie, look at me. Look at Daddy. What's happening? Amanda asked, her own heart racing. She has episodes, Nathan explained quickly, while gently holding his daughter's face, of anxiety. Since her mother. He didn't need to finish. Amanda understood, since Olivia was gone. Emma, listen to Daddy's voice, Nathan continued, his voice firm but gentle. You're safe. It's okay. Breathe with me. Slowly. But Emma seemed trapped somewhere far away. Her eyes were full of tears that wouldn't fall, her entire body tense. Amanda remembered her own episodes years ago, the feeling of drowning in air, the inexplicable terror. She knelt on the other side of Emma, carefully taking the girl's hand. Emma, can you hear me? She said softly. Try to feel my hand. Feel how warm it is? That's it. Focus on that. Amanda, don't, Nathan began, but she interrupted him. Trust me. She began to whisper to Emma, simple things, describing things in the room. The color of the wall, the noise of the other children, the smell of paint and paper, concrete physical things to anchor the girl back to reality. Now breathe with me, Amanda continued. It doesn't have to be deep, just a little. Take the air through your nose, slowly. That's it. Now release it through your mouth. It took a few minutes, but gradually Emma began to return. Her hands stopped trembling. Her eyes focused first on Amanda, then on her father. And then she began to cry, deep and painful sobs. Nathan pulled her into a tight hug, gently rocking. It's okay, sweetie. Daddy's here. It's okay. Amanda moved away, giving them space, but Emma reached out toward her. "Don't go," she whimpered between sobs. Amanda looked at Nathan, asking silent permission. He hesitated, but then nodded. Amanda approached again, and Emma clung to her and her father, creating a three-person hug. "You knew what to do," Nathan said quietly over his daughter's head. "How did you know?" "From personal experience," Amanda admitted, and the look he gave her was full of sudden understanding. They stayed there for a while, until Emma had completely calmed down. The other children had been discreetly taken to another room by Father Michael. When Emma finally lifted her head, her eyes were red, but she seemed more exhausted than scared. "I'm sorry," she murmured. "You have nothing to be sorry for," Nathan said firmly. "This isn't your fault, remember? We've talked about this." "But I ruined the afternoon." "You didn't ruin anything," Amanda assured. "These things happen. It's okay." "Does it happen to you too?" Emma asked, looking at Amanda with innocent curiosity. Amanda exchanged a look with Nathan. She didn't want to lie, but she also didn't want to scare the girl. "It has happened," she said honestly. "It hasn't happened in a while, but I understand how you feel." "It's awful," Emma whispered. "It is," Amanda agreed, "but it passes. And you're not alone. Your dad is here. I'm here." Emma hugged Amanda again, calmer now. Nathan watched, and Amanda saw something shift in his expression. The hardness he had maintained all those weeks softened a little. "I think it's best to take her home," Nathan said. "Emma, go get your things." The girl obeyed, still a bit shaky but functional. As soon as she was out of earshot, Nathan turned to Amanda. "Thank you," he said simply, "for knowing what to do." "You're welcome." "Amanda, he began, but stopped, running his hand through his hair in frustration. "We need to talk, for real, without Emma around." "I know. Would you have time on Saturday, in the morning? His mum can watch Emma." Amanda nodded, her heart racing. "There's a bakery on the corner, St. Anthony's Bakery. 8 o'clock? I'll be there." Emma returned with her backpack, and Amanda watched them leave. Through the window, she saw Nathan hold his daughter's hand with such tenderness that her heart ached. He was a good father. He had continued being a good father even after she had disappeared, even after Olivia had passed away. He had kept that girl safe and loved, and Amanda had lost all of that. 8 years of Emma's life. 8 years of first words, first steps, first questions. Years that would never come back. But maybe, just maybe, she could be present for what was to come. Saturday arrived wrapped in a cold mist. Amanda woke up early after another restless night. She changed clothes 3 times before deciding on something simple: jeans and a beige sweater. She didn't want to look like she was trying too hard. She arrived at the bakery 5 minutes before 8. The smell of fresh bread enveloped her as soon as she entered, along with the comforting warmth of the place. She ordered a coffee and sat at a table in the back from where she could see the door. Nathan arrived promptly at 8. He looked tired, with deep dark circles under his eyes, but there was determination on his face. He got a coffee too and sat across from her. For a long moment, neither of them spoke. They just sipped their coffees, immersed in the discomfort of silence. "Thank you for coming," Nathan finally said. "Thank you for giving me this chance." Another silence. "Amanda, I need to understand," Nathan said, his voice low but firm. "I need you to explain to me why you just disappeared. Why, after promising Olivia on her last day that you would take care of Emma, you vanished without a trace." Amanda felt the tears threatening, but she held them back. She owed him this. She owed him the truth, no matter how painful it was. "Do you remember how I was that day?" she began. "At the hospital. You were devastated. We all were." "It was more than that, Nathan," Amanda said. I was falling apart. I had been having bad thoughts for months, really bad ones. But while Olivia was alive, I could hold on. I had to hold on, for her." "What kind of thoughts?" he asked, although Amanda suspected he already knew. "Thoughts that the world would be better without me," she said simply. "That I was a burden, that everything would be easier if I just stopped existing." Nathan turned pale. "Amanda," I tried to stay," she continued, the words pouring out now that the floodgates had opened. "After the funeral I tried. I went to your house, picked up Emma in my arms, that beautiful baby. And you know what I felt? Terror. Pure terror. Because I looked at her and thought, what if I hurt her? What if in the middle of a crisis I do something terrible? What if I can't take care of her when I can barely take care of myself?" "You could have talked to me," Nathan said, his voice hoarse. "We could have found a solution together." "I couldn't talk to anyone," Amanda admitted. "I could barely get out of bed, I could barely eat. And in the middle of all that I had that promise hammering in my head. I promised Olivia. And I was breaking that promise just by existing and being a disaster." "So you ran away?" "I checked myself in," Amanda corrected. 2 days after the funeral, psychiatric hospitalization. I stayed there for 6 months. The silence that followed was heavy. Nathan looked at her as if seeing her for the first time. 6 months? He repeated. That's how long it took to stabilize me, to find the right medications, the right therapy, to make me understand that those thoughts were the illness talking, not me. "Why didn't you tell me? Why didn't you get in touch afterward?" Amanda laughed without humor. "And say what?" "Hi, Nathan, remember me? The crazy woman who promised to take care of your daughter and then disappeared because she was in a psychiatric clinic. Would you have wanted me anywhere near Emma?" "I deserved to know the truth." "I know," Amanda said softly. "You deserved it. Emma deserved it. But I was so afraid, Nathan, afraid that you would hate me, afraid that you would see me as dangerous, afraid that you would be right to hate me." "I don't hate you," Nathan said after a long moment. "I was angry, very angry, but hate? Never." "You had every right to be angry." "Olivia loved you like a sister," Nathan said, his voice choked. "When she was in the hospital, in those last days, she only talked about you, about how you would take good care of Emma, about how you two were the best friends in the world, and when you just disappeared, Amanda, I didn't understand. I thought maybe you didn't care, that maybe it was all a lie." "I cared," Amanda whispered. "I cared too much. That's why it hurt so much." Nathan ran his hand over his face, and Amanda saw that he also had tears in his eyes. "I looked for you," he admitted. "In the first few months, I called your phone, went to your apartment. Everything was closed. Your neighbors said you had left, they didn't know where. I even thought about going to the police, but your mother said you were okay, just needed some time." "My mother knew," Amanda confirmed. "She was the only person I allowed to contact me. She visited, brought things, kept me connected to the outside world. And after the 6 months? After that, I left the hospitalization, but continued intensive treatment. Therapy every week, medications, group therapy. It took another year for me to get a job, another one to feel truly stable. And all that time, I thought about Emma every day, every single day. I wondered how she was, if she was walking, if she was talking, if you had found someone new, if she called me godmother, or if you had erased my existence." "I never erased you," Nathan said. "I couldn't." Emma asked about the photos, about the woman who was always with Mommy in the photos. So I told her. I made up this story about a godmother who had traveled far away but who loved her from a distance, the angel godmother. That's what Emma understood. She was still very little, but as she grew up, the questions got harder. Why doesn't the godmother call? Why doesn't she send letters? Is there no internet where she lives? "And what did you tell her?" "That adults were complicated," Nathan sighed. "That sometimes people got lost, but that didn't mean they stopped loving." "I don't know, Amanda. I made up whatever I could so she wouldn't think you didn't care. Even though you thought I didn't care. Even though I thought that, yes," he admitted. "Because she didn't deserve to carry that pain. She had already lost her mother. I wasn't going to let her feel abandoned by her godmother too." Amanda felt something break inside her. That man, who had every right to be furious with her, had protected her memory for their daughter. He had created a gentle fantasy instead of telling the bitter truth he thought he knew. "You're an amazing father," she said, her voice choked. "I try," Nathan replied. I don't always manage. Emma's episodes, they started 2 years ago. Separation anxiety, the therapist said. She had panic attacks every time I went out of sight. She couldn't sleep alone. Had to leave school for a while because the episodes were so bad. Is that why you moved to Riverside? We needed a fresh start. Something new without so many memories of Olivia. And it worked, more or less. Emma got better, but the episodes didn't completely disappear. And as she grew up, it got harder. She wants a mother, Amanda, so desperately. She sees her friends with their mothers and asks why she can't have that too. And you? Amanda asked softly. You never met anyone? Nathan laughed, but there was no humor in the sound. How? Between working, taking care of a child with anxiety issues, trying to keep the bills paid, there was no time. And even if there was, I don't know. I still felt married. I know it doesn't make sense. Olivia's been gone for 8 years. But I look at Emma, and I see her. I see the woman I loved and who left me too soon, and it feels wrong to move on. Olivia wouldn't want you to be stuck, Amanda said. She would want you to be happy. I know. In my head, I know. But the heart is slower to understand these things. They stayed silent for a while, each lost in their own thoughts. And now? Nathan finally asked. Now that we've found each other again, what happens? I don't know, Amanda admitted. I know I want to be in Emma's life if you allow it, but I also understand if you don't want that, if you think it's too risky or too complicated. Emma loves you, Nathan said simply. She loved you even before meeting you, just from the stories. And now that she's actually met you, Amanda, I haven't seen my daughter this happy in years, even with the episodes, maybe even because of them. You understand what she's going through in a way I'll never be able to. But I need to know you won't disappear again, Nathan said, his voice firm. If you're going to be in her life, you need to really be there. I can't let her get even more attached just for you to decide it's too hard and vanish. I won't disappear, Amanda promised. I still have my bad days, I still go to therapy, I still take medication, but I've learned to cope. And more importantly, I've learned to ask for help when I can't cope alone. I won't make promises I can't keep, but this one I can. I'll be here, for Emma and for you if you want. Nathan studied her for a long moment, as if trying to read the truth in her eyes. Okay, he finally said. Let's try. Slowly. See how things develop. Slowly, Amanda agreed. They finished their coffees and talked a little more about smaller things. About Nathan's job, or the lack of one. About the last few years, the changes in their lives. It was strange and familiar at the same time, like meeting an altered version of someone you knew in another life. When they left St. Anthony's Bakery, the sun had burned off the morning mist. Nathan hesitated before saying goodbye. Thank you, he said, for trusting me enough to tell me the truth. Thank you for listening. They parted there, each going in a different direction, but for the first time in 8 years, Amanda felt that maybe, just maybe, things could be okay. Dear listener, if you're enjoying the story, please take a moment to like and especially subscribe to the channel. It really helps us who are just starting out, now continuing. The following weeks brought a new normal. Emma kept coming on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and gradually the tension between Amanda and Nathan eased. They weren't exactly friends, but there was a mutual understanding, a budding respect. Amanda learned more about their situation. Nathan had been unemployed for 6 months, ever since the company he worked for went bankrupt. He had gone on countless interviews, but nothing had worked out. The money was running out, and he was considering taking any job, even if it was far away or poorly paid. We're living off savings and odd jobs I pick up, he confessed one afternoon while they were organizing materials in the living room. I fix some computers, make some websites, but you can't live like this. Emma needs her therapies, her medications. She needs stability. Have you tried at my company? Amanda suggested. We're always looking for people in the finance department. Nathan's expression closed off immediately. I don't need charity, Amanda. It's not charity. It's a real position. You have the qualifications. A position that magically appeared after you heard about my situation? A position that's been open for 3 months and we can't fill because no qualified person wants to work in our Riverside neighborhood, Amanda corrected. But if your pride is more important than Emma's well-being, that's fine. The jab worked. Nathan sighed, running a hand through his hair. I'm sorry, I already depend on you too much. Emma depends on you, and that scares me. You don't depend on me. I'm offering help. There's a difference. And when you decide it's too much, that we complicate your life too much. Nathan, look at me, Amanda asked. I'm not going anywhere. How many times do I have to say that? Until I can believe it, he answered honestly. Amanda understood. Trust wasn't regained with words, but with consistent actions over time. She would have to prove day after day that this time was different. At least think about the position, she insisted. Not for me, for Emma. I'll think about it. 3 days later, Nathan showed up at her office for an interview. Amanda introduced him to the boss, made it clear they knew each other, but didn't interfere in the process. Nathan did well, better than well. The boss hired him on the spot. You start on Monday, he said, shaking Nathan's hand. And you can thank Amanda for referring you. She has a good eye for people. When they left the office, Nathan was visibly lighter. Thank you, he said. Really. This changes everything. You earned it. I just opened the door. You're the one who walked in and convinced them. Still, thank you. For the first time since they had reconnected, Nathan smiled at her. A genuine smile that lit up his face and made Amanda remember the man he used to be before grief changed him. The following months brought changes. Nathan was more financially stable. Emma was doing better in therapy, her episodes becoming less frequent. And Amanda was starting to feel that maybe she deserved that second chance. But nothing is simple, and life has a habit of complicating things just when they start to get better. It was an ordinary Thursday when Margaret, Emma's grandmother, showed up at the church. She rarely went inside, preferring to wait outside, but that day she marched through the door with determination on her face. We need to talk, she said to Amanda, without beating around the bush. Now. Father Michael, sensing the tension, offered his office. Emma was busy with other children, so Amanda followed her, her heart heavy. Mrs. Margaret, if this is about Emma, it's about you, the woman interrupted her, and about how you're infiltrating my family's life. I'm not infiltrating. Nathan knows I'm here. He allows it. My son is vulnerable, Margaret said, her voice harsh. He's alone, raising a difficult girl, struggling to survive. And then you show up, all nice and sweet, offering work, time, attention, as if that could erase what you did. I'm not trying to erase anything, Amanda said calmly, though her heart was racing. I'm just trying to be present. You abandoned that child when she was just a few weeks old, Margaret accused her, when she needed you the most, when Nathan needed you the most. Do you know what that time was like for him? Watching his wife leave, being left alone with a newborn baby, and still having to deal with her best friend disappearing off the face of the earth? I know I hurt you, Amanda admitted. I know, and I'm sorry. Sorry doesn't change anything, Margaret shot back. And the worst part is that now you come back, act like nothing happened, and my son is letting you. He's letting you come back, letting Emma get attached, and I see the disaster happening all over again. Mrs. Margaret, with all due respect, you don't know the whole story. Then tell me, the woman challenged. Give me one reason. Just one reason that justifies you turning your back on a child who had just lost her mother. Amanda took a deep breath. She had told the truth to Nathan, but sharing that with someone else meant exposing a wound that was still tender. I was sick, she said simply. Very sick, mentally, and I was afraid I would harm Emma. Sick, Margaret repeated, and there was skepticism in her voice. How convenient. There was nothing convenient about it, Amanda retorted, feeling the anger rise. It wasn't convenient to spend 6 months in a hospital. It wasn't convenient to fight every day not to give up on living. It wasn't convenient to miss 8 years of Emma's life because I was terrified of being a danger to her. The silence that followed was tense. Margaret looked at her with an expression Amanda couldn't decipher. "In a hospital," she repeated, softer now. "You were in a hospital?" "In a psychiatric clinic, yes. After the 6 months there, I continued intensive treatment for 2 more years. I'm still in therapy. I still take medication. I still have bad days. But I'm here, I'm functional, and I won't disappear again." Margaret sat down heavily in a chair, suddenly looking older. "Why didn't you say anything back then?" she asked, her voice losing its harshness. "Because I was ashamed. Because I thought no one would understand. Because I was afraid people would see me as too unstable to be around Emma. And Nathan knows about this. He does, I told him a few weeks ago." Margaret was silent for a long moment, processing. "Olivia had her difficult moments too," she said finally, "in the last few months, before she left. She would get sad, very sad. She would cry for no reason. She said she wouldn't be here to see Emma grow up. The doctors said it was depression, probably because of the illness. But I always thought there was more to it." Amanda remembered. Olivia had shared those feelings with her too. The deep sadness, the fear, the feeling of leaving everyone behind. "She tried to reach you," Margaret continued, "in recent months. She called your phone many times, left messages, wanted you to visit, but you never showed up." "I couldn't," Amanda whispered. "I wanted to, but I couldn't. I was already struggling back then, and seeing her like that, sick, knowing I was going to lose her, I couldn't bear it. She died thinking her best friend had abandoned her too." The words were like knife stabs. Amanda felt the tears falling freely now. "I know," she sobbed. "I know, and I live with that every day. With the guilt of not being there when she needed me most. Of being a terrible friend in her final moments." "She forgave you," Margaret said softly. "In her last days, when she could barely speak, she said she understood you, that she knew you were going through something difficult, and that she hoped you'd take care of yourself because Emma would need you." Amanda covered her face with her hands, sobs shaking her body. Margaret stood up and, surprisingly, placed a gentle hand on her shoulder. "I was hard on you," she admitted. "Not knowing the whole story, but I'm a mother. My instinct is to protect my child and my granddaughter." "I understand," Amanda managed to say. "But if Olivia forgave you, if she wanted you to be part of Emma's life, who am I to stand in the way?" Margaret sighed. "Just don't hurt them again, Amanda. My son deserves to be happy. Emma deserves to have someone besides me and her father. If you're going to be in their lives, be there for real." "I will be," Amanda promised. "I swear." Margaret nodded and left the office, leaving Amanda alone with her tears and memories. Olivia had forgiven. Even without knowing the whole truth, even feeling abandoned, she had forgiven. That should have brought relief, but it only made the guilt tighten more. Amanda allowed herself to cry there, in that silent office, for everything she had lost and for everything she still might have. When she finally left, Emma ran to her immediately. "Amanda, are you crying?" the girl asked, worried. "I'm okay, sweetie. I was just talking with your grandmother about grown-up things. Grandma Margaret gets mad sometimes, but she's nice," Emma said. "She makes the best chocolate cake in the world." Amanda smiled through her tears. "I bet she does." "Do you want to come to my house someday to eat Grandma's cake?" Emma asked hopefully. "Daddy said maybe you could come have dinner with us sometime." Amanda looked at Margaret, who was watching from the doorway. The older woman nodded slightly, a silent approval. "I'd love to," Amanda replied. The dinner happened the following week. Amanda showed up at Nathan's house with a dessert she had made herself, a strawberry pavée. Her hands were trembling when she rang the doorbell, but Emma opened the door with a joyful shout. "You came, Daddy, she came!" The house was small but cozy. Photos on the walls, Emma's drawings on the refrigerator, a feeling of a real home. Amanda saw pictures of Olivia everywhere, and instead of hurting, it brought a strange comfort. She hadn't been forgotten. Her place in the family had been preserved. "Welcome," Nathan said a bit awkwardly. "Sorry about the mess. Emma was too excited to help clean up." "It's perfect," Amanda assured. The dinner was surprisingly pleasant. Emma talked non-stop, telling stories about school, friends, and classes. Margaret served her famous lasagna and was kinder to Amanda than she expected. And Nathan? Nathan was different in his own home, more relaxed, more himself. After dinner, Emma asked to show Amanda her room. It was a typical 7-year-old girl's room, pink, full of stuffed animals, drawings on the walls. "This is my favorite place," Emma said, showing a corner with pillows and books. "It's my reading nook. Daddy reads me stories every night." "You're so lucky," Amanda smiled. "Amanda," Emma said, suddenly more serious, "can I ask you a question?" "Of course. Are you going to be my mom now?" The question completely disarmed Amanda. She knelt down to be at Emma's eye level. "Emma, It's complicated." "Why?" "You like me. I like you. Daddy likes you. Why can't you be my mom?" "Because being a mom is more than just liking someone," Amanda tried to explain. "It's a big responsibility, and I need to be sure I can be the person you deserve to have." "But you already are," Emma insisted. "You help me when I'm scared. You understand when I have an episode. You make me feel safe. Isn't that what moms do?" What could Amanda say to that? How do you explain to a child that adults were complicated, that there was history and hurt and fear between her and Nathan? "Let's take it slow, okay?" Amanda said gently. "I'll be here. I'll be in your life, and we'll see how things develop." Emma seemed to accept that, at least for now. But when they returned to the living room, Amanda saw Nathan standing in the doorway, and from his expression he had heard the conversation. After Emma went to sleep, Amanda prepared to leave. Margaret had already gone home, leaving her and Nathan alone in the living room. "About what Emma asked," Nathan began. "I didn't give her false hope," Amanda hurried to say. "I was honest." "I know, I heard." He smiled sadly. "She asks that question about every woman who comes into our lives. Her teacher, the neighbor, the grocery store clerk who's nice to her. She wants a mother so badly that she sees a potential mother everywhere." "That must be hard for you." "It is," he admitted, "because I know I can't give that to her. Not in the way she wants. I can't just get her a mother like ordering a pizza." "And you?" Amanda asked softly. "What do you want?" Nathan looked at her for a long moment. "I'm not sure I even know what I want anymore," he confessed. "For so long my life has just been about surviving, about taking care of Emma, paying bills, moving forward. I forgot how to have desires of my own. Maybe it's time to remember." "Maybe," he agreed. "But it's scary, you know, starting to want things again, having hope again. Because when you have hope, you can get disappointed. Or you can be surprised." He laughed softly. "You were always too optimistic, Amanda. Even when we were younger, you saw the bright side of things." "I learned the hard way that optimism is a choice," Amanda said. "Every day I wake up and choose to believe things can get better. Some days it's easier than others, but I keep choosing. I want to learn that." "You're already learning," Amanda assured him. "You survived the loss of your wife, raised a beautiful girl alone, rebuilt your life multiple times. If that isn't strength, I don't know what is." Nathan grew quiet, processing her words. "Thank you for coming today," he said finally. "It meant a lot. To Emma, to me too. Thank you for inviting me." When Amanda left that night, she looked back and saw Nathan at the door, waving. And for the first time since she had reconnected with that family, she felt that maybe there really was a place for her there. The weeks turned into months. Amanda became a constant presence in Emma's life. Beyond Tuesdays and Thursdays at the church, she started participating in other things: school performances, doctor's appointments when Emma had episodes, Sunday walks in the park. And somewhere in the middle of all that, something changed between her and Nathan. The conversations grew longer, the looks more lingering. There was a different tension now, not uncomfortable, but full of unexplored possibilities. It was Margaret who first noticed. "You two are dancing around each other," she said one afternoon, as Amanda helped wash the dishes after another dinner. "Why don't you stop beating around the bush and admit what's going on?" "Nothing's going on," Amanda protested, but felt the heat rise to her face. "Amanda, honey, I have eyes, and I see how my son looks at you. How you look at him. It's complicated. Love always is, Margaret said simply, but that doesn't mean it's not worth it. And Emma, Amanda asked, if it goes wrong, she'll get hurt. And if it goes right, Margaret retorted, she'll have the family she's always wanted. You three already act like a family anyway. You're just afraid to admit it. Amanda didn't know how to respond to that. It was true that she and Nathan had developed a dynamic. They were raising Emma together in a way, making decisions together, sharing worries and joys. But giving it a name, making it official, that was terrifying. Dear listener, if you're enjoying the story, please take a moment to like and especially subscribe to the channel. It really helps us who are just starting out. Now, continuing. The turning point happened on a rainy Tuesday in November. Amanda was at the church preparing activities for the children when her phone rang. It was Nathan and he sounded desperate. Amanda, I need your help, please. What happened? Her heart raced. Emma had an episode at school, a bad one. They called me, but I'm across town in an important meeting. My mom isn't answering her phone. Can you go get her? I'm on my way, Amanda said without hesitation. She grabbed her things and ran to Emma's school. When she arrived, she found the girl in the principal's office curled up in a chair, her face stained with tears, trembling. Emma, Amanda knelt in front of her. I'm here, sweetheart. Emma threw herself into her arms, sobbing. I thought Daddy had forgotten me. He didn't forget, honey. He's coming. There was an issue at work, but he called me right away to ask me to come. He loves you so much. Take me home, Emma begged. Please, take me home. Amanda looked at the principal, who nodded. I'll call her father to let him know she's already gone with you. Amanda took Emma home, keeping the girl close the whole way. When they arrived, she made hot chocolate and settled Emma on the couch, wrapped in a blanket with her favorite movie on TV. Nathan arrived 40 minutes later, coming through the door like a whirlwind. Emma, he called. Daddy! The girl jumped off the couch and ran into his arms. I'm sorry, sweetie, I'm so sorry. Daddy didn't want to be late, but it was important. It's okay, Emma murmured against his chest. Amanda came. She always comes. Nathan looked at Amanda over his daughter's head, and what she saw in his eyes made her stop breathing. It wasn't just gratitude. It was something deeper, more intense. After Emma had calmed down and gone to play in her room, Nathan turned to Amanda. Thank you, he said. Again, always again. That's what I'm here for. But you shouldn't have to be, Nathan said, running his hand through his hair in frustration. You have your own life, your own commitments. You can't keep dropping everything whenever Emma or I need something. What if I want to? Amanda asked softly. What if dropping everything to help you doesn't feel like a sacrifice but a choice I'm happy to make? Nathan fell quiet, looking at her with an intensity that made Amanda's heart race. Amanda, I need to be honest with you, he said, his voice low, about what I'm feeling. Nathan. No, let me speak. Please, he interrupted. I've spent so long holding this back, afraid of ruining what we've built. But today, when I couldn't reach Emma and called you, and you didn't even hesitate. Amanda, you always come, always. In recent weeks, in recent months, you've been here in a way I didn't even know I needed. I promised I would be. It's more than that, Nathan continued. You've become part of our life, part of my life. And Amanda, I don't know exactly when it happened, if it was gradually or suddenly, but I realize that when I wake up in the morning, I look forward to the moment I'll see you, that when something good or bad happens, you're the first person I want to tell. That Emma isn't the only one who needs you, I need you too. Amanda's heart was beating so hard she was sure he could hear it. What are you saying? She whispered. I'm saying I've fallen in love with you, Nathan admitted, his voice choked. Again or for the first time for real, I don't know, but I know what I feel is real, and I know it's scary because we have history, and Emma, and so many complications, but I can't pretend I don't feel it anymore. Amanda felt the tears streaming down. Nathan, I feel it too, it's been so long, but I was afraid to admit it, afraid it would be wrong, that I was taking advantage of the situation, that you still saw me as the woman who abandoned you. I don't see you that way, Nathan said, moving closer. Not anymore. Now I see you as the woman who came back, who stayed, who loves my daughter as if she were her own, who makes me want to believe in second chances. He was so close now that Amanda could feel his warmth. But what about Olivia? She whispered. She was my best friend, she was your wife. Doesn't it seem wrong? Olivia loved you, Nathan said softly. She wanted your happiness. And I think she'd be happy knowing that the person taking care of her daughter, her husband, is you. The person she trusted most in the world. Do you really think so? I do, he smiled sadly. Or maybe I'm just convincing myself of that because I want so badly to kiss you right now. Amanda laughed through her tears. Then kiss me. And he did. Gently and tenderly at first, then deeper, more urgent. Years of pain and longing and unspoken love pouring into that kiss. When they finally pulled apart, both were crying. Daddy! Amanda! Emma's voice came from the hallway. They quickly moved apart, wiping their tears. Emma appeared in the bedroom doorway, looking from one to the other with curiosity. Why are you crying? She asked. Sometimes adults cry when they're happy, Nathan explained. Are you happy? Emma asked hopefully. Yes, sweetie, Amanda replied. We're very happy. Emma smiled, that radiant smile that lit up the whole room. So now you're going to be my real mom? She asked, getting straight to the point as only children know how. Amanda and Nathan exchanged a look. Let's take it slow, okay, Emma? Nathan said. Amanda and we need to figure things out first. But yes, she'll be in your life, in our life, permanently. Which is the same as being a mom, Emma declared, with the absolute certainty of a 7-year-old. Okay, I'll accept you taking it slow, but not too slow. She then ran back to her room, leaving 2 adults laughing and crying at the same time. The following months were about adaptation. Amanda and Nathan started dating officially, though Emma insisted they'd been dating for ages and were just making it official now. They were careful, mostly because of Emma. No excessive affection in front of her, nothing that could confuse or scare her. But Emma didn't seem confused or scared. She seemed radiant. Her anxiety episodes decreased even more. She was doing better in school. She flourished. It's because she finally has what she's always wanted, her therapist explained to Amanda and Nathan during an appointment. Stability, a complete family, 2 parental figures who love her. You're doing an amazing job. It was in March, almost a year after that first reunion at the church, that Amanda started feeling unwell, constant fatigue, nausea, back pain. She ignored it at first, attributing it to stress, but when the symptoms worsened, she finally saw a doctor. The tests came back with concerning results. Her kidneys were failing. The doctor talked about family history, about conditions she didn't know she had, about the need to start treatment immediately. You'll need dialysis, the doctor said, and eventually a transplant. Amanda left the office in shock. How was this possible? She had finally found her place, finally had a family, finally was happy. And now this. She didn't tell Nathan right away, nor Emma. She started treatment quietly, undergoing dialysis 3 times a week, making up excuses for her absences. But she should have known she couldn't hide it for long. It was Emma who found out. The girl was rummaging through Amanda's bag looking for a pen when she found the medications, and they weren't ordinary medications. They were hospital medications with complicated names. What's this? Emma asked, holding up the bottles. Amanda froze. She had prepared several lies, but looking at that girl, at those trusting eyes, she couldn't. They're medications I need to take, she said simply. Are you sick? Emma asked, and there was fear in her voice. A little, but the doctors are taking care of me. But Emma wasn't foolish. She had seen medications like those before, when visiting her paternal grandmother in the hospital before she recovered from surgery. She knew medications like that meant something serious. You're not going to die, are you? Emma's voice was a terrified whisper. "No, sweetie," Amanda assured, pulling the girl into a hug. "I'm not. But I need to have some treatments and maybe need surgery one day." "What kind of surgery?" Amanda sighed. She didn't want to do this without Nathan present, but had no choice now. "My kidneys aren't working right. Eventually I'll need a transplant." "What's a transplant?" "It's when you take a new kidney from someone else and put it in you." Emma stayed quiet for a long moment, processing. "Can I give you mine?" she finally asked. Amanda's heart broke. "No, sweetie. You're too young, and you need your kidneys." "But can Daddy give? Or Grandma?" "Maybe. But first we need to check. And Emma, you can't tell your dad yet, okay? I'll tell him, my way, at the right time." Emma agreed, but Amanda saw the worry not leaving the girl's face, and she knew she had made a mistake, hiding it. That night when Nathan came to pick up Emma, the girl was too quiet. He noticed immediately. "What's wrong, honey? You're acting strange." Emma looked at Amanda, then at her father, clearly torn. "Emma, you promised," Amanda said softly. "Promised what?" Nathan asked, now alarmed. "What's going on?" "Daddy, Amanda is sick," Emma blurted out, tears starting to fall. "She needs a new kidney and I can't give mine because I'm too small, but you can, right, Daddy? Can you save her?" Nathan turned to Amanda, shock written on his face. "Amanda?" His voice was low, controlled, but she could see the storm behind it. "Nathan, I was going to tell you—" "When?" he interrupted. "When were you going to tell me you're sick? That you need a transplant?" "When I was ready." "And didn't I deserve to be ready?" he fired back. "Didn't I deserve to know the woman I love is going through this?" "I didn't want to worry you," Amanda tried to explain. "Well, too late for that," Nathan said, his voice trembling. "Emma, get your things. We're going home now." "Daddy, but Amanda—" "Now, Emma." The girl obeyed, sobbing. Nathan turned to Amanda. "We'll talk later. When I've calmed down enough not to say something I'll regret." And then they were gone, leaving Amanda alone with the weight of having once again hidden something important from someone she loved. The next few days were torture. Nathan wouldn't answer her calls, wouldn't respond to messages. Margaret showed up once to say he was processing, but that she, Margaret, wanted all the information about Amanda's condition. Amanda told her everything, about the kidney failure, about dialysis, about the transplant waiting list, about how her chances weren't good because she had a rare blood type. "And you were planning to go through this alone?" Margaret asked. "I didn't want to be a burden." "Amanda, dear," Margaret said gently, "family isn't a burden. Family is exactly for this, to be together during hard times. But you already have so many problems, and now we have one more, which we'll face together." Margaret was firm. "Now give me your doctor's phone number. I want to get tested, see if I'm a match." "Margaret, you don't have to." "It's not about having to. It's about wanting to. You're family now, and family takes care of family." Margaret got tested. She wasn't a match. But the news broke the ice. Nathan finally answered Amanda's call. "My mother told me everything," he said, "about how serious it is, about you hiding it because you didn't want to worry us. Amanda, you're impossible." "I know, I'm sorry. I'm going to get tested," he said, "to see if I'm a match." "Nathan, you don't have to—" "Don't tell me what I do or don't have to do," he interrupted, but there was affection in his voice now, not anger. "I love you. I'm not going to sit back and watch you suffer when I can do something about it. What if you are a match? It's major surgery. You have Emma to think about." "I have you to think about too," Nathan said firmly, "and Emma will understand. She already wants me to do it. Won't stop talking about it." "I don't want you to feel obligated." "Amanda, I love you," he repeated. "I want to marry you. I want to spend the rest of my life with you. So if there's anything I can do to make sure you're here for that, I'll do it. Without question. Without hesitation." Amanda was crying now, tears flowing freely. "You want to marry me?" she managed to ask. "It's the worst marriage proposal in the world, doing it during a medical crisis." Nathan laughed humorlessly. "But yes, I do. I always have, I think. Since you walked into that church and my daughter called you an angel, I just took a while to realize it." "I want to too," Amanda sobbed. "Marry you, be a real family. But I don't want it to be because of this. I don't want you to feel like you have to save my life." "I don't have to. I want to," Nathan said softly. "Let me get tested. Let's see what happens, and then we'll decide together. As a family." Nathan got tested, and to everyone's surprise, he was a perfect match. The doctors were impressed with how perfect the compatibility was. "It's rare," the doctor said. "Very rare. You're lucky." But Nathan didn't want to do it right away. He wanted to be absolutely sure. He researched, talked to doctors, understood all the risks. And Amanda loved him even more for not blindly accepting, but doing it with full awareness of the implications. "I'll do it," he announced a week later. "But there are conditions." "Conditions?" Amanda repeated, surprised. "We get married first, because if I'm giving a kidney to someone, it's going to be to my wife." Amanda laughed and cried at the same time. "That's emotional blackmail." "Yes," he agreed with a smile. "Is it working?" "Totally." They got married in a small ceremony at the church where they had reunited. Emma was the maid of honor, radiant in her pink dress. Margaret cried throughout the entire ceremony. Father Michael officiated, smiling as if he had orchestrated everything from the start. "I knew it," he said afterward. "Since that very first day, I knew God had a plan." 3 weeks later came the surgery. It was long and complicated, but successful. Nathan recovered quickly, returning home in just a few days. Amanda took longer, but finally, her body began to function properly again. During their recovery, they stayed in the house that was now theirs. Emma visited them every day after school, bringing drawings and stories and joy. Margaret cooked and cared for them both as if they were children. "You two are impossible," she complained, but affectionately. "You can't stay still for 5 minutes." "It's her fault," Nathan accused, pointing at Amanda. "She won't stop trying to make me laugh." "It's his fault," Amanda retorted. "He's the one making jokes about giving a kidney to the love of his life." "Because it's true," Nathan said every time. It was worth every second. Full recovery took months. But when they were both finally well, when life returned to something like normal, they realized something. They were happy, truly, completely happy. Emma was doing well in school. Her anxiety attacks were rare now. She had a mother and a father. She had a family. Nathan was fulfilled at work and at home. He had found a balance he didn't know was possible. He had a wife he loved and a daughter he adored. He had built something good upon the ruins of grief. And Amanda. Amanda had learned that second chances exist, that forgiveness is possible, that love can bloom even in the most unlikely places. One Sunday afternoon, almost 2 years after that first reunion at the church, they were at the park. Emma played on the playground while Amanda and Nathan watched her from a bench. "Are you happy?" Nathan asked suddenly. "Very," Amanda replied without hesitation. "And you?" "More than I thought would ever be possible again." Emma came running over to them, breathless and smiling. "Let's take a picture," she requested. "A family photo," she asked a nearby woman to take the photo. The three of them squeezed together, smiling. Emma in the middle, Amanda and Nathan on either side. "Smile," the woman said. And they smiled. They smiled for the photo, for the future, for all the second chances life had given them. When the photo was developed later, Amanda placed it on the living room wall. Next to it, an old photo of Olivia, because Olivia was part of that family too. She always would be. She had brought those people together, even in her absence. "Mommy would like this picture," Emma said one evening, looking at the 2 photos on the wall. "She would," Nathan agreed. "She would love to see you so happy." "I think she sent Amanda to us," Emma said with that childlike certainty. "She asked God to send an angel to take care of me and Daddy, and God sent one." Amanda and Nathan exchanged an emotional look. "Maybe that's exactly what happened," Amanda said softly. And that night, with Emma sleeping safely in her room, with Nathan by her side, With a family that had been broken and rebuilt in unexpected ways, Amanda finally felt peace. She had come back. She had stayed. She had loved. And she had been loved in return. End of story. And you, what did you think of this story? Have you been through something similar, or know someone who lived a second chance like this? Share your honest opinion in the comments. We really want to read what you think. Don't forget to leave your like and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss other emotional stories like this one.